Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror's Hell-o-ween. Every day we're going to be covering the Hellraiser franchise every single day, Joe Testa and I. So today we are covering Hellraiser III, Hell on Earth, which was released in 1992 and was directed by Anthony Hickox. I'm your co-host Alec, and joining me through this Hellraiser extravaganza is the one and only Joe Testa. So welcome back, Joe.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we are here and we are in Hell on Earth. So this franchise has finally made it to New York City, baby.
Yeah, I don't think we really got into that too much in our last episode, but the first two movies do take place in this strange, sort of British, sort of American fantasy world.
Yeah.
But this one, yes, we are clearly in New York City thanks to some probably stock footage because yeah, this movie was shot in North Carolina, I want to say.
Yeah, it was North Carolina. And also some
Okay.
great matte paintings. Right in the beginning when they pull up, there's like a warehouse, and then right in the back line, there's this huge city, city skyline or whatever, and that's a matte painting. And I was like, yo,
Mm.
this is the
Mhm.
matte paintings are going. Let's go. But yeah, it's a classic, just like Jason Takes Manhattan. They're like, it's Vancouver. So.
Right.
But you do get that cool shot of, I think it was Times Square, I think.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I always love I mean, I always love a shot of Times Square in like the 70s or 80s. And
Yeah.
this is 92, but who knows when that shot was. It could have been, anytime. But yeah, I did enjoy seeing that. And we get a shot of downtown Manhattan with the Twin Towers.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. So you get the classic New York stuff, and yeah. So this one is basically a pretty big break from the first two. I mean, the story is like slightly connected, but they kind of just were like, "Hey, we're taking the Cenobites, we're taking the Lament configuration, and we're going to New York." So the story's loosely connected, but I think we're finally seeing like, okay, Kirsty, that story's kind of done.
Mhm. Have you seen this movie before?
No, I never have, dude. But the thing is, I want to mention on the last one of my favorite things about this franchise is the posters. Like the posters to these movies, especially the first one, is like incredible. And this one, dude, I've always loved this poster. I remember when I was a concierge in New York, there was this kid who would always wear the shirt with this poster on it for this one specifically. And I was like, that's a cool person. Like, that is a cool dude right there that has Hellraiser 3 of all of them as his shirt. But yeah, I love this poster, man. I
Yeah.
love the background. What started in hell will end on earth. Like it's sick. It
I
looks
mean,
good.
that's the thing. Like walking through the video store as a kid when you see the box art for Hellraiser 1 and 2. I mean, like I think that's part of the reason I was somewhat disappointed in them because I want to see that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want all of this, kind of twisted romance with Julia and Frank, all the stuff that I appreciate more now as an adult. I didn't want any of that. I just want Pinhead front and center.
Yeah.
And I think, the powers that be probably felt that way too, at least the powers that be behind this movie, because this takes Pinhead and does attempt to make him, the horror icon that, we talked a couple of weeks ago about Brain Scan,
Yep.
in the early 90s, it did seem like there was this power vacuum to make new horror icons. And I
Yeah.
think this movie attempts to do that with Pinhead.
Candyman around
Hmm.
this time too. Leprechaun. Yeah, they were
Yep.
definitely early 90s. They were like, all right, let's capture that magic of the 80s again. But yeah, no, definitely this one has a much different feel. Like this one feels like they just took a lot of the stuff from the 80s slasher movies like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and they kind of like injected it a little bit into this one.
Hmm.
Definitely some more comedic moments. Not like too many, but more. And Pinhead is just like unchained. Like he is just
Yeah.
like, whatever he wants to say, he's saying his voice is different. Like
Hmm.
I like that we get to see him more, but it does kind of Wizard of Oz, you can see behind the curtain a little too much and you're like, uh-oh, what's gonna happen now? Is he gonna become Freddy? Like but still he looks great in this and Doug Bradley's having a great time. He gets to play two roles, which is kind of cool, I'm sure for him to not have to wear makeup for every single time he's on camera.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I mean, overall though, dude, I liked it. I liked this movie too. I
Yeah.
like. dude, there's a couple things where I'm like, whatever, but I kind of feel like this one made more sense than the second one. Like it's just like an art dealer gets the thing, Pinhead's in there, and then I don't know, like it. I just feel like it flowed well. Like
Hmm.
the news reporter finding out about this, and then that leads her to Kirsty, which opens up like the past and stuff like that. She's got her own kind of story going on with her dad, and like I didn't hate this one. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, no,
What do you
fair
think
enough.
about this one?
Oh, I've never hated this one. In fact, I'm not too proud to say that as like a kid, this was probably my favorite,
Oh yeah,
you
I
know.
could see why. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And this I think this movie is a product of its time, and it's a time that I have a lot of fondness for. This director, Anthony Hickox,
Mm,
he directed Warlock the Armageddon, a movie I saw in theaters. He's a genre guy. He did
yeah.
Waxwork. I mean,
Oh
just
yeah.
kind of, B horror movies that, that I was consuming at the time.
Yeah.
And this, yeah, this feels like that, and I have such nostalgia for that time. And yeah, I mean, I think we lose a lot of the craft and
Mm,
the artsiness of those first two movies, and it's
yeah.
replaced by kind of, B movie fun.
Yeah, yeah. So if you were kind of going in expecting that like almost like gothic S&M-y kind of thing, they kind of replace that a little bit. But like I think it kind of all makes sense though, because it's like
Hmm.
they even say like Pinhead isn't like bound by the laws of hell anymore. So he can
Yeah.
just go off and do whatever he wants, which I kind of like that because it really makes it you appreciate the second one more in a way weird way where it's like Leviathan betrayed him by making Chenard or whatever the new guy that was going after, trying to kill all the Cenobites and Pinhead. So Pinhead was trapped in this thing, and now once he gets out, he can do whatever he wants. And I kind of liked
Hmm.
that. I was like, that's kind of cool. He like can break his restraints.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Like I kind of, dude, this one's
Yeah.
good.
Well, I'm glad. We
Yeah,
we got to take our wins where we could get them. You
yeah.
know, but we do have the same writer here, Peter Atkins. He wrote the second movie. He'll
Mm,
write the next one.
okay.
So I feel like we do have a pretty tight continuity. You did point out, one uh, little inconsistency with the ending of the first movie
Yeah.
going into the second, but I do feel like, having the same writer here, we do have a pretty nice continuity. I could see, I feel like a lot of horror movies back then, they did try to, follow each other. They did try and kind of reference previous movies a little
Yeah.
bit more maybe than they do now. Like I could see, this is several years after part four, different production company, New World went out of business. Clive Barker's production company went out of business because of Nightbreed. Like a
Uh,
lot of new people involved in this one. I could see them, being like, why don't we just start someone gets the puzzle box. Forget the pillar thing.
yeah.
Nobody remembers that. Like I could see them doing that. That's probably what they would do today,
Yeah.
just soft reboot it. But they do acknowledge those events from part two, and we start with the Pillar of Souls and Pinhead trapped inside the pillar.
Yeah, the pillar got a massive upgrade.
Yeah.
And the second one, it looks like a, college art project. And then this one, it's like this could be in like a museum. Like
Yeah.
it's like marble and yeah, it's got the lament configuration in it. It's got Pinhead's face in it. It's got Julia's face in it. It's got like a bunch of random shit.
Yeah. It's
And
amazing.
yeah, it looks really cool. And we meet this like douchebag JP Monroe, and he's just like your archetype 90s douche. Kind of reminded me of Bobby Briggs from Twin Peaks a little bit, but even way douchier. And yeah, so he goes into this art gallery, pyramid art or something like that, and he buys this statue from this like homeless guy, and he's like, "How much do you think it's worth?" And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And he just gives him like, a couple $100, gets this incredible marble statue delivered to his like insane penthouse suite or whatever. And we find out that he killed his parents. So that's how he got all of this stuff. He's got this, massive club, which, dude, for the life, I looked it up. I was like, is that the thing from Wayne's World? You remember? Because it has the same like fire like over
Yes,
the thing. Yeah, because this one's called the Boiler Room. That one's called Gasworks. I looked it up because I was like, that'd be crazy if it was the same one. Because it was like almost the same year. I think
I
Wayne's
think
World was
so.
92 or 91. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's not though. But it's like, it's a club too that feels out of place in the Hellraiser world. It feels more like a metal club. Do you know the band that was in this?
I don't, but I know
Okay.
Motorhead does the song at the end. They're covering an Ozzy Osbourne
Yeah,
song
yeah,
called
yeah.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know the band that's playing in the club.
Okay, dude. Well, that was the thing. I was like, how many movies until they're gonna put the Hellraiser song in this
Yeah.
movie? I thought it was gonna be Ozzy. I wasn't expecting it to be the cover,
Hmm.
but yeah, there's a band in here. Kind of felt like a '90s metal band, early '90s metal band, and yeah, so JP has this statue up there, and then it cuts to this hospital where there's a news report basically going on. And there's this woman, Joey, she's the lead, and she's got her news cameraman, Doc, who's this like older guy who I like Doc. I thought he was kind of like a weird, interesting side character who like I didn't need to be as interesting as he was, but I liked him. I don't know.
Hmm.
So yeah, so Joey is this like struggling news anchor. She's at a hospital. She's doing a story on the hospital, but there's no murder that night. There's nothing bad happening. So she's like, "Fuck, this sucks. My life sucks." But then after her cameraman leaves, an emergency happens where this guy gets wheeled in with his girlfriend. Like, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. And he gets like these chains just they're like hanging off him, and they just blow his head up. And Joey, the or the news anchor, seeing all this, and she's like, "Where's my cameraman? Like, God damn it, I missed this." So she's like, "What is happening? Because this is fucking crazy." Which you think like I don't know, that, like the doctors would be like, "Yeah, you can interview us about that," but nothing happens. Um, so yeah, so Joey's a news anchor, and she misses this incredible story. But now she's like super like, I need to know more about this. And she meets this
Hmm.
girl, Tiffany. I think this is Tiffany, right? This
This is
girl,
Terry.
Harry. Okay, there's
Yeah.
too many
Yeah.
T's. So Terry is this guy's girlfriend, I guess, or it's JP's ex-girlfriend, but it's whoever this guy who died. She was with him when he died. And that's basically the setup, right? There wasn't any flashbacks to Elliot Spencer or anything like that yet, I don't think.
Yeah, no, that seems like that's it. This
Yeah.
reporter is, going to make it her mission to get to the bottom. This reporter who, can't be taken seriously by anyone. She's going to make it her mission to get to the bottom of this strange. I don't, yeah, yeah, it's not a murder. It's just death by chains.
Yeah, and it also just kind of raises the question like how did the lament configuration and the Statue of Souls get to New York City?
Mm,
And like
hmm.
because they make it seem like, oh, this pyramid collector guy, but he's not there. He's been in Hawaii for 20 years. So you're like,
I
what is this?
think the first two movies were always supposed to have taken place in New York, believe it or not.
Okay.
Like I think in the first one, they have an extra wearing a Yankees hat, like there are little hints, even some of the actors who dub the British actors have a very kind of New York way of speaking.
Yeah.
So I think it was always supposed to be in New York, believe it or not. But
I think you're right because I do think they say the line like we just left Brooklyn or something like
mm,
that. Yeah, there's a lot of it's so confusing the first one.
yeah.
So okay, so all right, so now it's in some store in Manhattan, and I don't know how this woman got the lament configuration or the guy that was fucking with it.
I think it's implied that he must have pulled it off of the statue.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's the impression I got.
Okay, so yeah, so somehow he opens up something and he gets killed, and we really don't know much about this guy. We never really found out too much about him.
Mhm.
So now JP has bought this art statue. It's in his apartment, and he's like messing with it. He's like reaching his hand into this like empty portion of it, and there's a rat in there. And the rat bites him, and blood gets on the statue, which then brings back Pinhead. He's
Mhm.
super weak, but he can still talk. And that was a cool scene of like the blood like going backwards and like getting sucked into all these little holes in the statue, and that was cool. I like that.
Yeah.
But right off the bat, though, you can hear like Doug Bradley's voice is very different. This is probably the most he's spoken, like
Hmm.
combined in the first two movies, in the first like, 10 minutes of this movie.
Hmm.
Um, and he kind of explains to Terry, like, you can be my right hand man in hell. And, he's just so manipulative. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't care about this guy. He doesn't, he's just using him to get him to be his blood guy or whatever, like how
Hmm.
everybody does. So, yeah. And then Joey is, trying to get in touch with Terry to find out what's going on. She goes to the club, finds JP, finds Terry. And then JP has this weird scene with this like blonde woman. So we learn how big of a douchebag JP is, basically.
Yeah.
He goes and gives a rose to like the prettiest woman in the club and makes her feel special and then brings her up to his penthouse and has sex with her and then kicks her out or whatever. That scene was insane. That scene's really crazy. I mean, the acting is horrible. I mean, the acting in this movie overall is
Yeah.
is pretty bad. But this one blonde girl, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, the acting.
Hmm.
It's
Luckily, she doesn't stick around for very long.
No, her death was crazy though.
Yeah.
I mean, she goes up to the statue and like these claws basically just tear her skin off, and then she's still alive and then gets eaten by the statue, and you're just like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
okay. And JP's watching all this just like, okay, like I
Hmm.
guess I'll help you now,
Right.
Um, yeah. So yeah, it's interesting though that like Pinhead, he can't get out of this. He's just like a
Hmm.
normal guy in the situation. He's like everybody else, like Frank or Julie. He needs help to get out of the situation.
Yeah. It's strange seeing Pinhead in this position. And again, Doug Bradley's great. I think the writing is good.
Yeah,
I think him manipulating people is well done. It's just I think I just loved the the way he was presented in those other movies. Um and how kind of bored he almost was with his routine. Like there was just something so cold about him in the
yeah.
other movies that I really responded to. Like he's been doing this for so long, and you can't do that, time after time. So they had to, do something different with him in this movie. But I do feel like this is the beginning of seeing him in a less dignified way.
Yeah.
Just him trapped in the statue, and then later just these close-ups that make him look a little goofy. It's
Yeah.
just uh, again, this is a completely different tone, like that kind of art house feel. Forget it. You really got to forget it. We are in almost a completely different kind of genre. So I can go with it, but
Mhm.
there are a lot of moments with Pinhead where it's just like, oh, I just miss the way he was presented in those other movies.
Yeah, the bullets when he gets like shot and he's just like
Again,
spitting out the
yeah,
bullets. Yeah, and he's just like, "You
totally.
ready to talk now?" It's just like,
Totally. But
yeah.
I get
So
it,
yeah,
I get it. Like, 1989, all of the big horror franchise horror franchises kind of fizzled out. Freddy, Jason, Michael, Leatherface, they're gonna say, we got a guy, we got our guy, and he's gonna replace those other guys. So you have to put him front and center, you got to give him some personality. I get what they're doing, and as a kid, it worked for me.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, yeah. You just kind of gotta go along for the ride, and I think you just gotta keep going because
Hmm.
he's gonna change a lot. So,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, yeah. So, Joey, then we get a little bit of a flashback, or we learn a little bit about her history, where it shows her father was in Vietnam. So she's getting a flashback of her dad dying, I guess, who he died before her birth. So she's
Mhm.
seeing like something that she could never have seen. Like as a
Right.
fetus, she saw her dad die basically
Mhm.
in Vietnam. So she has flashbacks of that, which is like bad dreams for her. And then Terry comes over. So she calls Terry. She's having this bad dream. She calls Terry. She's like, maybe I'll call this girl. And Terry's like, can I come over now? She's like, okay, fuck it. So Terry comes over. They have a weird little kind of like back and forth about how Terry can't dream and how Joey's trying to get her like story to like get her life, like the life that she wants, even though like, dude, your life's amazing. You have this like sick ass condo in New York City, like, this, like Florida ceiling windows. It's like you're doing pretty good, Jessica, or whatever your name is. But yeah, so she tells her base or Terry tells oh my God, what's her name? Jesse? No, Joey. She tells Joey that yeah, I was like with this guy and he had this box and these demons came out of it and she's just like, what are you talking about, basically? But I can't remember how she gets on the phone with the Chenard Institute because
Yeah,
Joey calls them.
yeah, they go searching the art gallery
Okay,
and they find all these files.
that's right.
Um,
That's right.
that's how, somehow this art gallery acquired the pillar, and they also have all the files from the Chenard Institute.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of cool. So yeah,
Hmm.
they go back and yeah, they have like the picture of Elliot Spencer, they have the Kirsty information. And then I just love this. She calls the Chenard Institute. She's like, "Hey, like I'm a news reporter. Can I have like all the information on the Kirsty case?" And they're like, "Sure, no problem." And they just mail her like a videotape, like all this
Yeah,
stuff. You're
no,
like,
no patient privilege whatsoever.
no, that's like insane, and it's
Yeah,
so fast. She's like, "Great, thank you," and hangs
yeah.
up. And yeah, so then Terry, I guess, is like JP like calls her because JP is killing people for Pinhead now, or trying to. So he's like, "Oh, I could just get Terry to come to
Hmm.
die here." So he
Yeah.
calls Terry. Terry comes up to the apartment or whatever, and the scene was interesting. I wasn't expecting this. I kind
Hmm.
of thought he was gonna kill Terry because like I thought JP was gonna be like the new Frank or like the
Hmm.
new big bad guy other than Pinhead, but she flips the bill and Terry actually punches him in the face with brass knuckles and then pushes his body over to Pinhead and Pinhead kills JP. So
Yeah.
and he's
Mhm.
back, right, from this?
And then, yeah, the pillar crumbles around him, and we
Yeah.
get Pinhead, in the real world, not confined to hell or the puzzle box.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't really see Terry what happens to her though. He doesn't kill her there, I don't
Mm-mm.
think. Yeah.
No.
And then she comes back later as a Cenobite or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So oh sorry, go ahead.
And we do see Kirsty one more time, and Ashley Lawrence did come back to do that scene of her, you know, speaking to whoever it was, the doctors at the Chernard Institute.
Yeah.
And I do, I do wish she played a part in this movie,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you know this, but in a few movies, Ashley Lawrence does come back.
I had heard that. I have
Okay.
no idea which one. I don't know how, but
Don't get your hopes up.
okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, like we don't ever get kind of a proper confrontation again between Pinhead and Kirsty. Although, we'll rewatch Hellraiser Hellseeker, and maybe I'll feel differently. But I do wish maybe Kirsty they found a way to bring Kirsty back for the climax of this movie. But
Yeah. So
mhm,
stupid. I mean, she's they would have done basically what Nightmare on Elm Street 3 did and
mhm,
just bring the lead actress back and have her tell them what's going on. But yeah, so all the exposition gets just given through this videotape and so Joey's caught up to speed, on what these things kind of are. I mean, not really, but she's like,
mhm.
I think they're demons. I don't even know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so Kirsty or not Kirsty, I keep forgetting her name. It's
Joey's
Joey.
the reporter.
Joey. So yeah, so now Joey is like, okay, so I think I kind of know what's going on. But what the fuck does she do now? I just watched this last night. What the hell is she? She goes to, oh, Pinhead starts going crazy.
Yeah, I mean, really, the centerpiece of this movie is when Pinhead kind of unleashes his power on the nightclub, and
Yeah.
chains are flying everywhere, people are getting
Oh yeah.
mutilated. I mean, and he just, takes out hundreds of club goers, and this is pretty fun. I mean, this is exactly what the to quote Chenard, exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, this is what I would have, this is what I would have paid my $3 for when I rented this as a kid. I mean, just Pinhead unleashed. Now watching it, it just doesn't really feel. I don't feel like this is what Pinhead is about. It just kind of death and destruction. I mean, Pinhead is to me in those first two movies, it's kind of like be careful what you wish for. Like you're
Yeah.
you're you're seeking forbidden knowledge, and he's gonna give it to you.
Mm.
There is this just kind of be careful what you wish for kind of thing to it. I don't think of him as just like enjoying slaughter the way
Yeah.
he does in this scene. But again, I am able to kind of separate, uh, you know, this movie from the other two and just kind of again enjoy it for being a silly horror movie.
It felt a lot like the pool scene from Freddy's Revenge, where it's like, ah, ha, 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 and like
Yeah.
everybody's just like fires going everywhere. And I mean, the CD guy was kind of dumb. He
Oh, yeah.
kills
I
a guy
mean,
with CDs.
it's a lot like Freddy's Revenge because that
Yeah.
movie, Freddy is in the real world, no
Yeah.
longer in the dream world, and you could argue like how is that the best way to use Freddy,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you can make the same argument here. But oh, let's talk about the new group of Cenobites he has here because I mean that might when I think Hellraiser 3, I might think CD Cenobite before anything. I mean,
Yeah. 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 You're not wrong. I mean, the new Cenobites, they're called, I think they're like, even Pinhead says, like, they're not as good as my last friends or whatever. But
you
like,
could say that again,
yeah. He's like,
Pinhead.
but they got the job done, I guess. So I guess these are ones that don't go through the machine or whatever that Chenard went through.
Right.
So
Yeah.
these are just random people.
And again, I don't want to be too grumpy about this, but when I think of the Cenobites, I think of like the most twisted people in some cases,
Yeah.
going through like decades of torture and it mutating their body in some way,
Yeah.
and them not even remembering who they were.
Yeah.
That's at least what I got. But a lot of things in Hellraiser are ambiguous. That's how I think of the Cenobites.
Yeah.
And the fact that they are just kind of these, people that died 5 minutes ago and that they have this gimmick is
Yeah.
just it's silly. It's silly, but I could go with it.
It feels like Nightmare on Elm Street, where it's just like the way each person dies is like what their personality is, and that's kind of
Exactly.
what this was. It was like, oh, he's a DJ, so he's got CDs, and the other guy was a camera guy, so he's got a camera for an eye, and you're just like,
Yes.
okay, it's kind of
Eh,
like it feels like RoboCopy a little bit too, like they're
yeah.
like half machines, like I don't know,
Yeah, I mean this action scene spills out of the club and you have Joey running down the street dodging explosions. It's like we're
yeah.
in a completely different movie now.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
even before all of this, though, we do get that one scene of Elliot and oh my God,
uh,
Joey,
yeah.
Joey and Elliot, where Joey's watching the scene of Kirsty, and then you see like the original Pinhead, Elliot Spencer. He's like, "She's not wrong, Jesse," or
Hmm,
Joey, "She's not wrong,
yeah.
Joey." So then she has a dream about Pinhead, the original Pinhead, Joey. So she goes back with him to like World War I or
Hmm,
whatever, and they're walking around this battlefield, and he's explaining to her like, I was this guy that after the war, like my generation got destroyed by like alcoholism and the PTSD and everything like that, but I got into like messed up stuff. And
yeah.
that's why I became Pinhead. But then Kirsty showed me a picture of myself and it saved me and it made this nice version of me. So I got to stop the bad version of me. And you need to help me, Joey.
Yeah, so essentially, I guess the events of Hellbound, Pinhead has been separated into two different beings.
Yeah.
His human form, which is now in dreams,
Yeah.
and Pinhead, who is now in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. So Elliot Spencer is good for some reason because he was so bad he became Pinhead, but now that he's
Hmm.
not, he's like, well, that was wrong. I
He
guess I'm a good
sees
guy now.
he sees the error of his ways, and they don't really get into exactly what he was into. But
Right.
Pinhead does drop a line like later during the climax. Joey is like um tied up, and she's in kind of like bondage gear, and
Yeah.
Pinhead says something like, "I know you're into this," or something like that. So
Yeah.
we're only left to wonder what this guy was up to.
Yeah, so he's definitely a bad. He's got to be a really bad guy to be made into Pinhead. So, yeah. So then, now that Joey kind of knows like what to do, I guess she calls. She is watching the news report on the TV of this massacre that happened at the dance club, and she's like, "Holy shit!" So she calls Doc up, and I love the second Doc picks up the phone. He's like, "Hey, Joey." And she just takes out a cigarette immediately. It's like he was sleeping with it in between his hands or whatever. And he's like, all right, yeah, yeah. Channel 12, I'll be there. Turns it on. It's like a nature documentary. He's like, the fuck's she talking about? And you find out the TV was unplugged the whole time. And you're like, oh. So that was a fake news report to get her to go to the club or something like that. How does Pinhead even know who she is? I mean, like, but he clearly wants her because he put this fake news report together for her, you know? Um, so then Joey, yeah, so then she goes to the club. She's running from all of this crazy madness you were talking about, like, electricity and fire and all this stuff. But she goes to a church. She
Hmm.
runs into a church. And this scene, we've talked about this. Like, I think we were both like raised Catholic, but we're not like religious or whatever. I don't care. But if I was religious, this scene is like super offensive to like Christians, dude. Like the stuff that they say and like mimic and do in this church, I was like, I mean, if I was religious, I'd be like, yo, this is kind of fucked up.
It's
Like,
funny. I do remember hearing that they couldn't shoot this in a real church.
yeah,
They
yeah.
tried. I think they got the exterior shot of a real church. Church wouldn't let them go in and do this.
I mean,
And
yeah.
and it's obvious that they're on a set. I mean, this does not look like certainly not a New York church.
No,
But
no, no.
but yeah, I mean, I think it is if a Hellraiser movie should push buttons, you know?
Yeah,
I think so yeah, I could see someone watching this and and being offended, but they also shouldn't be watching a Hellraiser movie then.
probably. Yeah. But yeah, so like what happens is, yeah, Pinhead walks into this church. He melts the crucifix that the priest is holding, which is pretty cool. His hands like,
Mhm.
"Arr!" And it's like all melted.
Which is Dracula stuff. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
come
But
on.
then he does something crazy where he takes the pins out of his head,
Mhm.
stabs it into his hands to look like Jesus on the cross,
Yeah.
then does like the Jesus cross arm tilt, head tilt thing
Yeah.
and says, I am the way. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my God. Then he takes like a piece of his like blood. He's like, this is my blood, my body, and puts it in a priest's mouth. And I was like, this is crazy. I mean, like, I don't really care. But I could
Yeah.
understand if I was like some church mom and I saw my
Oh.
son watching this, I'd be like, "You're not watching this. Go watch
Yeah.
Jason."
Yeah. For sure. It does seem a little edgier than the rest of this movie, which is pretty
Yeah,
pretty silly, you know?
yeah. I mean, again, I don't care. You could not offend. Nothing will ever offend me. But I was just kind
Yeah.
of looking at it like some pissed off old Christian lady, like what she would think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so this scene is it's cool. It's intense. I mean, it is just like Doug Bradley going off, like monologuing, just like, I can do whatever I want, and you are all my children, like that kind of bullshit. And that's
Hmm.
Freddie, I think. But
Hmm.
yeah, it blows out all the windows, kills the priest, I think. I think.
I don't
I don't,
remember.
actually, I don't think he does. I think he just shoves the stuff in his mouth, and then
Yeah.
Kirsty's like, "I got the box," and he's like, "Give me that," and then like
Yeah.
just leaves the church. And he's like, "Sorry about everything." He's like, "It's fine.
Hmm.
Like this is gross." And then what's his name? Pinhead chases her out, and then we get outside, and then she's just surrounded by like all of the Cenobites,
Hmm.
and then I love to like. So what was JP? What the hell was his thing? He's like pistons in his head. Like what the hell?
Yes,
What was that
and
supposed to be?
I'm not really sure. I know he had a motorcycle um in his club, like in his apartment.
Yeah.
So I don't, is it because he was kind of he liked to work on cars or bikes or I have no
I
idea.
don't know. I thought it was because he
Yeah.
was like a sex piston or something like that. Like he's just like always fucking. Like that's like really what I was like, what is this?
You very welcome. That makes as much sense as anything I came up with.
But
So yeah,
then Tiffany, right?
yeah.
Tiffany,
No,
Terry,
Terry.
Terry.
Yeah,
She's got the worst of all.
yeah,
She's just got a cigarette that she's like, ha 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 ha.
yeah,
She's like
yeah.
pushing her cigarette onto
Terrible.
Joey. I was like, this is fucking pretty dumb.
Yeah. And
Uh,
it's not even just how ridiculous their gimmicks are, which they are ridiculous. It's also just the way they're shot and presented.
yeah,
Like when you think about those first two movies, there's like strobe and fog
yeah,
and the
wind.
music, and it's just again like majesty.
Yeah.
This is, it is what
I,
it
and
is.
they got these, they all have their own Freddy one-liners. Like, you
Oh
ready for
yeah.
your close-up? Like, like this is,
That's a wrap.
yeah, we're getting there. I know
Yeah.
it kind of sucks too. Well, it's weird because like everybody else was main characters. It was like, okay, Doc is a guy, JP, Terry, but then you randomly get the DJ who's in it for like 1 second. You're like, that's just
Mhm.
anybody now, that one too. And then, as always, all of these movies kind of do the same shit. Like she's surrounded by Cenobites, and Pinhead's like, ha ha ha, like you're gonna die, and then she's just like pressing on the box, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and everybody just gets like taken out individually,
Hmm.
and then you're like, fucking hell, like is
Yeah.
over? But luckily it's not. But I was like, honestly, I wouldn't expect it not to be over based on the last two movies. They end just like this. You're just kind of like, evil is vanquished with no effort put in, apparently. But this time you get Joey sitting there and she's like, oh my God, I can't believe like, all my friends are dead, but I killed the demons. But then she just like randomly is teleported to Vietnam. And she's in Vietnam. And then her dad's like slow motion coming out and he's like, Joey, is that you? And it's like, Dad, oh my God, I've never met you. You're so awesome. And they have this like weird embrace. And he's like, I think I need like that box you got there. She's like, oh, this for you? Sure, Dad. Where am I? And then immediately he's like, ha ha, I got you on Pinhead, and turns into Pinhead. But it was weird to see Pinhead in daylight outside.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was kind of cool. Like I've never seen, you always see him in like, yeah, like a musty closet or in some fucking basement with chains and, rats and stuff, not like in a field in the middle of the day.
Right.
It's kind of
Yeah.
cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, the makeup is awesome.
Yeah.
Again, Doug Bradley is always giving it his all. Um, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's just my preference. I think I was wrong as a kid. Less is more with this guy. Less
Yeah.
really is more. I didn't know shit as a kid.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And it gets so confusing at this point. I mean,
Oh yeah.
Pinhead is like, I'm gonna kill you now, haha. And then randomly, I think Doug Bradley, like Elliot Spencer, the other guy, comes out and he's like, not today, Pinhead. And they like randomly are in I guess the place where Doug Bradley turned into Pinhead for the first time. They're in
Yeah.
some place.
Yeah.
And yeah, you were saying like they tie up Joey and they like, he's like, she's gonna be one of ours and like all this stuff. And then Ellie Spencer's like, yeah, I like this actually. But then he just turns on Pinhead and like knocks it out of his hand. And
Yeah, and there is like a confrontation between them where they sort of merge.
yeah.
And I guess I came across this piece of information that this is the first use of CGI in a horror movie.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this would have
Yeah.
been right before Brain Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jurassic
yeah.
Park would have been the next year. Well, Jurassic Park, not really a horror movie, but
Yeah.
this is before, all of you know that really exploded in Hollywood. And there's this moment, and I think also a moment at the club where some ice turns into Pinhead's
Mm.
face and then
Hmm.
becomes like a sickle and goes through a girl's head.
Yeah.
That was also a little bit of early CGI. So
It doesn't look too bad.
no, not at
Yeah,
all.
they like blend it well with the practical
Yeah.
effects. The story it just feels like it's enhancing it, not replacing it.
Hmm.
So yeah, that didn't bother me too much. I think like I really didn't like the like blue lightning on the first one where that's how they killed Pinhead. I hated
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Doug Bradley gets absorbed into Pinhead and then is able to like tell Joey to like use the box, and then
Hmm.
and then it's over. She
She
gets
turns it into like a dagger, like we saw it in the previous movie,
right,
and
stabs her,
stabs him.
and then he gets sucked into that in his chest and like falls on the ground or whatever.
Hmm.
And that's it. It's oh no, she takes the box. Yeah, this is great. She takes the lament box. There's like brand new wet cement. It's like, is it not the middle of the night? Like what the fuck?
Hmm.
And she just puts the box into the new cement, and then it's like, I don't know, 10 years, not even 5 years later, a year later, whatever. And it's this building and it all looks like the lament configuration. And it's just you're kind of like, what? So did the box like possess the building? Like the workers? Like,
Maybe we will find out.
oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones. I've never seen this one, but
Okay.
I knew about this one a little bit. The next ones I have no idea. So,
Yeah. Yeah, things get interesting from here, especially behind the scenes, because towards at some point towards the end of this production, Dimension Films and the Weinsteins get involved with distribution.
of this one, because this one was
Yes,
Dimension. Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. They didn't. I don't think they were involved in the making of this one, but came in at the end with distribution,
Hmm.
and I think Clive Barker wasn't very involved. But somehow somebody, it might have been Bob Weinstein, made a deal with him to come in and tinker with it
Hmm.
enough to let them put his name on it. And he agreed to do some press for the movie too. So Clive is still a little involved. And now we have the Weinsteins involved. And that'll all get very interesting going into the next movie.
Ugh, yeah, I know. It's just. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but so far I'm liking it. We'll see what I think tomorrow after Bloodlines, but I genuinely, yeah, like the first two are very similar in tone. This one takes it to a different level, but like
Mhm.
I, I still like it. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I said, one and two, as far as I'm concerned, classics. And this one, especially if you kind of grew up with movies like this, it's a silly good time,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I'd give this one a pass, if not a recommend. So we're doing all right.
I know. And, honestly, like you don't need to see the first two to appreciate this one. It would definitely
No,
help, but they
yeah.
they fill in the gaps enough for you to just kind of be like, all right, I think I get something happened before this, but I don't know. I still recommend you watch them,
Mhm.
but yeah, yeah, great poster, decent movie, decent movie. Doug Bradley really carries this one. But yeah, so all right, we're moving right along to tomorrow. We're continuing Helloween with Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines. But just want to say thank you everybody for listening to our discussion today on Hellraiser 3 Hell on Earth. Thank you, Joe, and we will see you all tomorrow with Hellraiser Bloodlines.